The latest episode of our talks had technical difficulties written all over it. From lost signals, to muted sounds, to weird framing, to constant freezing screens while editing. It did annoy me a good bit. But in the end, those gadgets, those opportunities we have today, they make it all possible. The world has become very, very small, and in a business that is built on relationships and being able to have conversations, that's pure gold.
I have mine on a tripod, so I can.
That's what I need. I need a tripod.
It's makeshift. It's from an old microphone stand.
Okay.
And I put a magic arm on it and a clamp for the phone. Just because I thought, okay, I need to be somewhere that's near enough. That's kind of,
the things we do to make stuff work, right?
Yeah.
Gotta always be creative.
Yeah, you have to.
What did you fire up?
It's the, I don't know if you know this one.
The Joya de Nicaragua Dojo. That one's probably from a few years back.
I can't really remember, but it has to be around Corona when that came out.
Yep. Yep, that's
2021, something like this. They had 2 runs actually, and this is, I think, from the second.
Oh, they had 2 runs. I missed both of them. I did get one from Joe Machado though, so I at least I think I did. I would have to go back and check. Yeah, there's so many cigars.
Yeah. What are you smoking?
I fired up. It's a factory. It's a blend that I made with leaf that was sent to me from La Union, one of the factories that I'm working with on 3 blends right now that are produced. We're just working on the finishing touches on labels. The bands are done. But I would think that within the next couple of weeks that the labels get their final stamp of approval, and then on to putting them on cigars and getting them over here so I can get them out to people.
The labels, you mean the ones for the boxes?
Yep. So I'm doing bundles, so 10 count bundles to start, just to keep the price point low right out of the gate. But there'll be like sticker labels that will go on the front of the bundle. And I've seen the mock-ups, and they look good. It's very clean. It's very not super loud, but straight to the point. And in my opinion, it's going to let the blends speak for themselves.
Will it be paper bundles or in cello?
Yep. My request to the factory was to have paper bundle wrapped, like we've seen with a lot of other 10 count bundles out there. It's just going to have different color paper per blend. So like the Connecticut is going to be white or like a cream. Then the 2000 is going to be red. And then the San Andreas is going to be green.
So the H1's red, San Andreas green, which makes a lot of sense, I think. And Connecticut is
like it'll be like a white or cream type color paper.
Yeah, nice. It looks a bit more classy in a
Right.
bundle when it's wrapped in paper. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm going to see after this first round, exploring like a cost analysis on keeping with bundles or going to boxes. And, will it be 10 count boxes? Will it be 25 count boxes? And just kind of analyzing the total cost associated in with the price. And I like the idea of boxes, but some of the quotes and pricing that I got initially, it just brings the cost overall total cost up a little bit higher than I want, but we'll see when it comes to volume.
Yeah, but something you have to look at when the first one is kind of sold. So you can see the
Correct.
numbers and see if it would make sense.
Right, kind of like a proof of concept. Yep. Yep.
So that is the blends you are doing with La Union,
Mm-hmm.
and for
So
the
there's
other
gonna be
one,
the other one is Continental Cigars. So they're both out of the Dominican Republic. With Continental Cigars, though, it's going to be a Connecticut as well. So two different Connecticut blends. And with this Connecticut, it's going to be a 6x54. 6x54. And that one is going to be called the Ambassador. And it's going to have a whole different theme around the cigars that I'm getting on a Continental, just to try to highlight the differences between the factories, but also keep them somewhat in their own categories. So when people try each of the blends, they're going to be like, "Oh, that's a La Union, or that's a Continental," and also give props or praise right back to the factories that I'm partnering.
will they also be sold in bundles or 10 count bundles at first?
Yep, paper wrapped, 10 count bundles. There might be a little overlap in the colors. There is a little bit of discussions that I'm still in with Continental right now, because the bands and labels are in customs waiting to get to the factory. I had the bands and labels for the Continental blends made out of Florida, so they had to ship them into the Dominican Republic. So it's going to be customs on that piece, and then once they're already done, banded, labeled, packaged, and sent into the U.S., there's going to be customs again. So
Yeah, for the whole thing.
correct. Yep.
Yeah, slowing down the process again.
Yep. But it's worth it. It's definitely going to be worth it, and it's not something that I wanted to, going into it, I didn't want to rush it. Next month will be 1 year from starting, the communication, getting everything going. So I guess I'll say I'm hoping that after the 1 year anniversary of starting the conversations and trying blends and everything like that, and sending blends that I sent them, hopefully that 1 year is the good number,
Yeah.
and then get them here.
When you started to search for a factory or maybe two factories to work with, how did you start that? How that came about, and how did you find those two in particular?
Great question. So when I started, I was planning on bringing stuff I roll into the market, and then the demand got kind of a little crazy, and I still have multiple projects that's going to last me throughout the year. But in that time frame, one of my good buddies is Vance Taylor with Stoic Cigars, and he introduced me to Kender Roman of Continental Cigars. So I started that conversation and started getting the ball rolling. And then a buddy that is in SNS, so the Tatawahe Club, Saints and Sinners, Robert Petrie, he introduced me to Cesar Reyes of La Union and started the conversation with that. So the introductions occurred from having conversations with fellow brothers and sisters of the Leaf that had certain contacts, and then started developing a relationship with them through multiple conversations.
So basically, it all came about through. This is all about conversations and connection.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
And then when you started talking to them and started kind of blending with them, how did this work? How did you do this?
So what I started with is, so I have about a notebook full of blends that I've written down, and dozens of them that I've tried, and I settled on 5 different blends that were I really enjoyed, and a lot of my buddies really enjoyed. And I sent 2 of each, so 10 total cigars, to both. So 10 to Continental and Kender, 10 to Cesar and La Union. And they tried them. They provided feedback on them. And then they put together blends that with the leaf that they have available. And then they sent samplers back to me to try out. And then from there, we had discussions around, hey, I wonder what this blend would taste like with, some Corojo or some Brazilian Matafina, or just different types of leaf in there, and also different vitolas or different ring gauges, different lengths of cigars.
And you tried this. You tried them out, the different sizes and the different variations.
Yep. So the first round was like it was probably 5 to 8 different blends per factory, and then I provided feedback, and then a second round came in on some tweaks and some adjustments that were made. And then from there, I felt like I had enough, because they sent multiples of some of the blends to try now and try later, and I settled on these 5, and soon to be enjoyed by everybody.
And in how many vitolas will they come, or did you try them?
So,
and how much do you many different vitolas do you settle across all those blends?
Great question. So I tried 5 different vitolas. All of them are round cap, but Toros, Robustos, Lonsdales, Lanceros, Churchills, even Petite Robustos. And I settled on, so the Ambassador is going to be a Toro. The Envoy is going to be a Robusto. And that's through Continental. Through La Union, it's the Gentleman. So the Gentleman's going to be a Robusto and a Corona.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Rebel through La Union, that's going to be a Robusto. And the Monarch, which is the San Andreas through La Union, that's going to be a Corona. So I liked keeping, in my opinion, a great representation of a blend when somebody first tries it, whether they're just exploring it, seasoned smoker or brand new smoker. The Robusto and the Corona, in my opinion, is a manageable size, and Vitola and the type of ring gauge that they typically come in is more approachable as an introduction to a blend.
Yeah, basically, I think that they blended, or you blended most of them in a Corona Vitola.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Outside of the Ambassador, the Ambassador was a Toro, 54 ring gauge, and it just, the airflow, the flavors, the aroma, the burn. It's a very rich, nice, elegant, starting smoke of the day, or if you have a happy hour or something like that. It's very approachable and not invasive if you're in a group setting around other people that aren't cigar smokers.
So speaking of sizes, what would you say is your preferred size in a cigar?
Yeah. My preferred is a Robusto or a Corona, just due to time frame. Now, I've been appreciating more of the Toros in 54 to 56 ring gauge. 60 is kind of pushing it for me, but there are some really good blends that I've tried that really shine in that ring gauge. I tend to be a fast smoker, so if I know that I'm going to be sitting down and having a bigger, a little bit more time, I might go with a bigger ring gauge to keep that heat down and not burn so hot. But to answer your question, Robustos and Coronas are usually my go-to.
Yeah, we got a little bit sidetracked anyhow with the sizes. It just kind of interests me because I tend more to Robusto to Toro size myself than the smaller ring gauges, but I totally came to appreciate it. Like a Lancero, I really enjoy now. I couldn't do that when I started smoking because I just couldn't find the right pace. But now that I know this, I really enjoy a Corona Lancero. How do they call it? It's not a Lancero. It's more like a shorter
Like a
Lancero,
Lonsdale?
little bit more of ring gauge.
Or like a Petite Lancero?
No, they have a different size name, but I forgot. It's a silly size name too, so I think it's not possible.
Well, now what's your preferred ring gauge?
I would go with a 50, maybe a 48 in a Toro.
Yep. Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. What kind of broke open my mind with some of the larger ring gauges was the AJ Fernandez 20th anniversary. And that's a little bit bigger of a ring gauge, but just how it burned, the flavors, the aroma, just spot on. And then JC Newman, the American,
Yeah.
That double Robusto, man, is so tasty. It's so good. But it's a 56 ring gauge.
Lonsdale is the Vitola I was looking for, the name for the Vitola, and the American I had in the Lonsdale Vitola, and I really digged it. I also had the double Robusto. Joe
Yep.
sent me this, and
Yep.
I think I liked it more in the smaller ring gauge.
Interesting. That double Robusto, based upon my research and looking over the blend, it has extra Ligero in it. So in a lot of cigars, they tweak the blend to be even ratios based upon the Vitola. But that one, the double Robusto, it's like, oh, this is the only one that has extra Ligero in it, which I think suits that double Robusto size for the American greatly.
I think you also tweaked the blends in the one line you have two Vitolas off.
Yep. Well, so for La Union, so the gentleman, the blend in those two, the Robusto and the Corona, it's going to be the same ratios. It's not. I'm not adding more into one or the other.
Now, so up to this point, the whole blending process was basically via phone or mail, and you never really was in a room with one of the blenders or the factory owners you work with.
Not yet. The plan is to get down there towards the end of the year to look, depending upon how the releases go with them, to get the next round of orders going and explore additional blends and get more, try out more blends when I go down there.
Okay, but so far you weren't there and they never visited you. You just called them or talked to them via email or via a Zoom call or stuff like this.
Yep, and it took probably 5 to 6 months of communication to build up the rapport, and discussion around leaf, discussion around different types of leaf available and blends and blending. So a lot of it was just discussion and talking and building a friendship before even trying anything.
Well, that's kind of crazy how it can work nowadays.
Very crazy, very crazy. Because you always want to make sure that what you're getting is what you're getting. Not saying that they would pull a fast one on me or anything like that, but I've found that working with the factories and the band makers and the label makers and everybody within the process to really get a good product and product that you feel proud of bringing to the market takes time. And I think it takes communication opposed to, hey, I go do a factory tour and I see you have 1,000 of these cigars. Well, let me get some bands made and just slap the bands on that cigar, which there's nothing wrong with that. There are some companies that do that, but I think that to really put my name on it, what I want to bring to the market, I want to make sure that it's something that has my personal touch on it. Otherwise, in my mind, I feel like what's the point? I mean, anybody could take a cigar and put a band on it, or change a band on it, but this is a part of me that I feel like I put in every single one.
Yeah, those are your cigars. You blended them together with those two factories. And while you were on it, did anything occur like, okay, this was a great idea, this is a good blend, but it won't fit into the ones I want to put out to the market first, and let's think about this for later projects, let's put this in the aging rooms. Is there anything you already have in store for next steps?
Yes. So for next, and that, I'm glad you brought that up, because there were some blends where I made pretty extensive notes on every single test blend that I tried. And I'm like, well, this one it tastes good, but I want to maybe tweak it and add this leaf or subtract this leaf. Some of them I felt, is okay now. Give it like a month, give it 3 months, and I feel like it's going to sing even more. It's going to taste even better. There's also ones that I told them, hey, don't give this, like, don't get rid of this thing yet. Let's make sure there's some extra to try it and just see how it goes. So there are some of that stuff. There's some stuff in the works. There's also discussion on the ones that I'm bringing to the market, exploring different links, different vitolas, different ring gauges on them. Very similar to a lot of blends that are already out.
But those are extensions of the lines when you know, okay, this got a good reception, so I could add a Toro to it or
Correct.
something else. And all right, yeah.
Now,
And
the exception. Go ahead.
and other than that, you also have already other things in store for when all of this gains some traction.
Correct. And the only exception is that the La Union, the Gentleman, that one is, like I said, it's going to be a Robusto and a Corona right out of the gate. That's the only one so far. I tried it in both the Robusto and Corona, and I loved them both. So I couldn't decide one or the other. So I said, heck, let's do both.
You are quite keen on the idea to continue working with them if this really works out. But I think you also told me that you wouldn't be against working with other factories, maybe from other countries in the time to come.
Yep. I'm a big believer of, growing relationships and building each other up. So, I believe I mentioned in a different video that if I grow, they grow, and I want to see them be successful just as much as I'm successful. And, sometimes if there's other opportunities with other factories down the road, sure, but I still want to continue to keep building up my brand and the business of the factories that helped me along the way. That's just the kind of person that I am. I don't forget people. I don't forget the things that they've done. So why not just continue that partnership? Things might change over the years, but right now everything's in a good spot, I think.
And the question is also in which direction things change.
Correct.
The growing together idea, I think it's amazing.
Yep. And there's and I'm not going to go so far into politics here, but with politics, there's different stuff happening with um, importation and stuff like that. So I'm constantly keeping an eye on that stuff as well. Does that play a factor? Sure, but I think that when something feels good and your gut's telling you to do it, you know, go for it.
Go for it. When it comes to work with different factories, or when it comes to keep existing partners on your side.
I think with different factories, because in my mind, I still want to continue working with existing factories. Um, this is, I think, the viewpoint that I'm bringing into this is wanting to work with smaller factories, not the, we're producing, 1 million cigars a month or something like that. I like, quote unquote, kind of the underdogs per se. They bring a great element and excitement and just passion into it that uh, kind of reinvigorates you.
What are both factories so far known for? Do you know that?
So, Continental Cigars is known. They're actually well known in the Dominican Republic as, and they've won many awards about in regards to their blends that they've been putting out for themselves, for other people, and they've been around. How long have they been around? They've been around for a while now. And then La Union is a newer factory. So, excuse me, Cesar Reyes, that I've been working with through there. Newer factory, but Cesar has worked with multiple different blenders, very well connected in the Dominican Republic, um, and branched off on his own. And he also had a brand back in the day, in which he's getting back into looking at potentially releasing something. I don't want to say too much about what he's doing, but he's been in the industry for many years and knows his tobacco very well. Actually, both of them do, both Continental and La Union. So I think that they're not at the scale of, say, like your AJ Fuente, um, Blackworks, anything like that. But what they've been doing on a smaller scale in their quality, that I think they're raising the bar and putting out high quality cigars, which is, a true testament of Continental winning awards down in the Dominican Republic for their cigars. And with La Union, um, hopefully with the partnership, they get some awards themselves with the blends that they're producing for myself and for others as well.
So they are more of an underdog like you.
In my opinion, in everything that I've seen in conversations, correct.
And when it comes to their blends, you said that you want to incorporate their kind of signature flavor profile into their cigars as well as yours. How different from that what they usually do are the blends they did with you?
So ones that they've done now, I have actually. I'll start with La Union. So ones that Cesar has put together um, for himself or for some other people, it's very different. What I'm putting together, the blends. There's not like a signature amongst all of them. They are pretty different in the grand aspect of how they're blended and how they're put together. Continental, I haven't tried their Continental cigars that they do, so I can't compare that to anything that I'm doing that I work with them on. But I will say, out of the blends that I've tried through Continental, um, there's differences between each one. So it's not like one flavor note or strength or one category that encompasses all of them.
But yes, when the blends you made with them, you made with their tobaccos, or did you source other stuff for this too?
Yep. So it was tobaccos that they sourced, and what
Okay.
so what they had at the factory. But also we had discussions about other types of tobacco, and they have um, places that they can pick up different types of tobacco that farmers bring their tobacco to, almost like a warehouse or like a wholesaler for uh, tobacco.
Technology is a weird thing, but it's weird. It has a lot of flaws, but it helped you doing this. I mean, in the end, so far, the blending process, the getting to know each other with the factories you're working with, that's all in the end comes down to that we have the ability to do this, or like we now, the ability to speak to each other thanks to this technology.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. And you know, as time goes on and technology advances, and how you know how much easier it is for us to connect. Yourself, you're in Germany. I'm in Wisconsin. It's Sunday. Like, we're able to talk through our phones on a video, and it it streamlines, and I think that it speeds up the process on so many different things, like how things are now compared to 10 years ago. I mean, how you go about things are way different. You know, calling up a factory or something like that over the phone, not being able to see face to face, it's a way different approach. And I think that we're very lucky these days to be able to use this type of technology to do these types of things. There's so many different aspects in life that we can speed up or slow down or utilize in a constructive way.
So somehow I don't know how this came to be, but it's in my brain the guerrilla marketing we were talking about last time popped up, because this technology really will help you with this.
Yes. Yep.
And your approach to marketing is guerrilla marketing. This would be basically quite funny to see, because I wonder how what you are thinking about. What are the steps to bring your brand into the market? If you, at the moment, you have all your stuff together, when customs processed it someday, what do you think are the steps how you go to the market with this? Will you go from shop to shop and make kind of events, or just say, okay, you can buy it there, or there? Will you have a website you can find it on, or what's your approach to this? What's your
Yep.
idea about this?
And in my current state, and I've thought through this for quite some time, was to have a website and be able to uh, have a centralized place, one to tell the story of the brand, and tell about the blends, and just more information about J. Morey Cigar Company. Now, I have been in discussions with some retailers as well too. Um, I think that I want to move this into more of a retail type setting as well too, because the retailers, anybody who goes in there is looking for a cigar. They have the capabilities; they're established. You know, for me to set up a website um, in the state of Wisconsin and all over the U.S., each state has different excise tax laws, so you have to register with each state. So that can be a pretty lengthy process, and it's a lot to manage, and it's a lot, and every state's a little bit different. So to answer your question, yeah, I have the ability to sell online, but as time goes on and it evolves, keep building out that retail network, and then you know stay with preferred partnerships with retailers to get new blends. Have make sure that they always have inventory on hand. Help drive additional business to them as well, because I'm treating the factories and the band and label manufacturers, you know, having that loyalty and partnership with everybody who's helped along the way.
Okay, so you kind of stepped a little bit away from the idea selling them via your own website.
Yep. To start website, but then still have them available on the website, but be able to branch out into the retail operations um, with different partnerships with lounges, or just cigar shops if it's not a lounge, to be able to uh, sell additional product that way and get more product out there to more people that uh, might not want to order online. Maybe want to see it in their hands, opposed to hey, I'm just going to place an order online and hope it's good. Some people, they enjoy trying it first before they buy more.
Yeah, so you basically what you're saying is you cannot do this without more and more partnerships and connections and
Correct.
stuff.
Correct. At least in the way that I want to do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with, strictly selling online. Um, but I think that having the ability to partner with more people, um, there's enough there that uh, everybody can eat. Everybody has the opportunity to enjoy it. Retailers can make some money off of it as well too, just based upon how the inputs are that I am at producing. So I like to take care of everybody.
Yeah. So I think you said that selling it online is also a little bit more difficult because of different state laws and different things you may have to do for it legal wise beforehand.
Right. So in the state of Wisconsin, I'm 100% authorized to go. So let's say I want to sell to somebody in Florida or Pennsylvania. You have to register individually with each state. So if you want to sell into all 50 states, you have to register 50 times, one time each state for sales and excise tax. So it gets pretty involved. So that's where the retail partnerships would help.
Okay, but with the retail, would it be the same? Would you have to also kind of file for every single state if you sell via different retailers?
From what I've researched, as that, yeah, because you are still selling it. So if you sell it to a retailer, um, that would be, you still need sales tax, and then there's excise tax involved with it as well too. So let's say I want to sell to a retailer in Illinois. I would still need to register through the state of Illinois to be able to sell to a retailer there. Let's say they're picking up 20 bundles or something like that. I still need to be able to record that because I'm selling into that state.
So that state can also get his tax out of it.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, that sounds pretty exhausting.
It can be. It's very involved. I will say that. Um, and if there's anybody who watches this that knows a streamlined process, let me know. But I've been researching it for months, and it's 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 you got to put your elbow grease into it. You got to put the time in, and you got to set it up in order to um, be a business, to be successful. In order to be around for many years. If you want to do it the correct way.
Yeah, so when you look at your timetable of building up this brand, would you say you are halfway there just because you have the blends, you have the packaging, you're basically set to go? Or does it
Yep.
look like, okay, that's more like 25% of the way and now the real exhausting stuff is coming? What would you say?
Well,
What's more like the reality of it right now?
I would say about 50%, but going to 75% is going to be very quick because I'm looking at going from it's 50% right now. Once it gets to 75% is when the blends arrive, and once they land on my doorstep. Now,
Okay.
I do think that that last bit is going to be, setting up the website. It's a lot of the back end stuff, setting up the websites, registering with different states that you sell into, building up the partnerships with retailers. That piece of it, I think, is probably the last 25% of it, in my opinion, because a lot of it is just having conversations, um, delivering a value proposition, and discussing your brand, and letting people try it. Um, but then also with states, filling out applications for states that I would want to sell into, and then waiting for that to come back. So I think at that point it's a lot more of a waiting game, because the government uh, is not always expedited all the time. So sometimes it takes some time to wait for things to process. So it'd be great if it was overnight, but it takes time.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories of this, I think it's from Steve Saka, who made a cigar designed just for the European market
Mm-hmm.
that came to the basically to customs in the EU and kind of was stalled there, was on hold and on hold and on hold, and like a year after it should have been released, he found out that a lot of those cigars were basically sold back to US customers and never made their way over here or
Oh,
made
wow.
their way back before they got released.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I talked to him about this basically a year ago. Ever since that uh, happened, or ever since we talked about it, nothing else happened to this line. It never got released. He has a second installment of it, also never got released.
Wow.
Can be
Wow.
crazy.
And it makes me wonder how now the international piece of it, I haven't really dove too much into all that quite yet, but it just makes me wonder how, you know, is it something to do with customs? Is it something to do with legislation? Is it, because there's so many things that have been it's been kind of like a roller coaster, for cigars in the tobacco industry,
I think it's a lot about legislation and opportunity that um, occurs to others when
Yeah,
legislation sleeps.
yeah, yeah. Which, yeah, I mean, eh, politics are going to politic. Politicians are going to do what they want. I think that there's multiple ways to accomplish something. Um, I think that maybe there's more to the story that we just don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Well, from what you are experiencing with um, the way it works with your brand, with the factories you are working with all the legal stuff you have to learn for yourself, what would you say today you need to establish a new cigar brand?
So you have to work with um, a law firm or have a buddy who's a lawyer, um, and get your articles of origination. You need to get your business started, and you have to get it registered with the government. From there, it depends upon how you want to, like, what you want to do with your business. So, and like a stereotypical, like, hey, I want to work with a factory, get some blends, going. Um, you need your distribution license. Now, this is in the state of Wisconsin, and I'm not a lawyer, but this is, in my experience, what you should do. So get originated with your government and get your LLC or your EIN, your setup, and get that. Then you have to get your manufacturing license because you are a business and you're going to be importing cigars through a broker. So you need to be able to accept those cigars, but then you also need to be able to sell those to retailers. From there, you also need to get a salesperson's permit or license. So that basically is like what a cigar rep needs. So you can rep your own cigar brand, and then you can do sell it at live events or in person. Those would be the top ones, I would say. Um, Once you go further than that, I also have manufacturing because I do manufacture cigars as well. Through blends that I roll. Um, you don't need manufacturing if you're going to be setting up a brand and not rolling it or not manufacturing the cigars you yourself. That would be a distributor. Um, and the other thing, you could get an importer's license. So starting out, I'm working with brokers, and so you have to pay brokers in order to get your cigars in to help with customs. And but if you go for your importer license, that can take some time. It's a little bit more in depth, but that is not off my radar. So, in a nutshell, distribution and distribute. Well, I'm sorry. Get your business set up through your government, distribution, and then salesperson. Those are the top three. Is what I would say. Is if I knew all what I know a year ago, those are the three I would go for right away.
So this typical dream of most of cigar smokers with, I have an idea for a brand, I have a cool design, let's go.
Hmm.
That just doesn't work. You have to put a lot of more of effort and time into.
Right. Yes. You know, um, in a perfect world, it would happen. I call it the Amazon mentality. Everybody wants everything overnight. But this is cigars. This is tobacco. This has been around for so many years, and it's really built on relationships. You know, it's great and wonderful to be very excited. I mean, I get excited. Everybody gets excited about it because it's fun and it's something new, and you have high hopes and high dreams. It takes a lot of work, and it does take um, building relationships. You have to be likable. You have to trust people, and putting trust in factories or people in a different country. You have to build up that relationship as well too. Uh, Plus, it always just gets you ready for what comes. Now, there's many days where hey, you don't want to go to work every day, right? I mean,
No.
but that's that's how you get paid. It's no different here. Is that you know you you might not want to do it one day, but you always, in my opinion, if this is dream is bigger than what you really want, like if this is what you really want, your dream and your passion has to be there because it's not sunshine and rainbows every single day. There's going to be days where you're going to have a bad day, but you have to push through and you have to get through it. Um, and if you
So
don't,
consistency is what you need.
consistency. Yep. I do something every day. Here, talking with people, talking with factories, or talking with contacts, talking with band makers. I'm prepping tobacco that on rolls that on cigars that I'm blending and rolling, prepping tobacco, binding, rolling. Before we hopped on this video, I was gonna start wrapping up some cigars. So once this video wraps up, I'm gonna start throwing some wrappers on cigars. So um, but every day doing something. I the best analogy I give is it's like working out. You know, Everybody wants to have six pack abs and they want to be the most handsome or beautiful person in the world, but it takes work in order to get there and consistency. It's no different with building a cigar brand.
So basically, before we started talking today, you wanted to work on the blends you made for Joe, or Joe
Yep.
requested from you, and so
Yep.
now when we're finished, you will do that.
Yep. Yep. I've been working on those for a couple weeks, and I'm right at the tail end. I just have about 8 more cigars to put wrappers on, which I should be able to finish up, and then it's on to a couple more projects. So one's for another Cigar Dojo member, and one is for a good buddy of mine in Michigan who's having his first kid. I'm doing a um, special blend for him.
So like, it's a boy, it's a girl cigar.
Ish, yes, yes, definitely in that premise, but it's not going to be the little baby blue or pink bands that say that. It's going to be a little bit more thoughtful, I should say. Nothing wrong with those, but I want it to be nice.
Have you thought about or talked to Eric for about maybe advertising on the dojo as far when you're ready?
Yeah, I haven't yet. I know that I sent Jordan, his son, um, some cigars when I did that 1011 country blend. I sent some to him, and I haven't heard much from there. But yeah, talking with Eric at Cigar Dojo is definitely on my radar um, once the factory blends come in. Because I think that's a great platform. I've been on it for many, many years, and um, I think that maybe launching something there or doing some sort of special release or promo or something like that through Cigar Dojo would be a great way to help kickstart it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's the community you are part of or were part of when your whole journey started. When you think about, okay, it's all about communities and, well, relationship building. I think this would be a great idea. Yeah.
100%. It makes sense based upon the direction I want to take it. Right.
Yeah. Microblend and
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
guerrilla marketing all comes together there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, hey, maybe I will. Maybe it will become uh, a household name at some point. But I like to be realistic. Um, I'm not afraid to put in the work. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty and get into the trenches with everybody and um, move forward. You know,
Yeah.
it's put in the hard work.
Last time we spoke, you said a couple times that one of the things you have to do is to stay nimble. And I think that speaks the same.
100%. And I think that applies in all aspects in life. You know, I think that uh, a lot of people, if something bad happens or if you get bad news, do you let it define you, or is it just a speed bump in life? You know, when you go to a destination, sometimes you have to take pit stops. Sometimes you have to take a different way around. Maybe there's an accident. Maybe there's something else. There's so many different things that you can't predict. But once it comes up, I mean, maybe your direction is one way, but something happens where you have to pivot around. Uh, be creative. Keep an open mind. You know.
You have to adapt to the situation.
Hmm. And almost sometimes welcome it. You know, welcome the change. Welcome the different things because um, you know sometimes that makes you stronger. Sometimes that gets you on the right path that you need to go. Maybe you weren't on the right path before, and now it's just getting you ready for the direction that you were supposed to go. Or maybe you took that detour and you got to see some cool like landmark or something like that you wouldn't have normally been able to see or you would have never seen in your entire life. But you got a different experience that made you ready for something else, or maybe it spurred an idea or some excitement to do something a little bit differently that becomes very successful or that you enjoy.
A little bit like Bob Ross put it with
Yeah.
happy little accidents.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
man. I like that analogy. Yep.
yeah. All right. I won't keep you longer from rolling those cigars for Joe.
That's okay. That's okay.
Thank you for today.
Tobacco's
That
not
was
going to.
fun.
Yeah, it's always fun, Ollie. I'm looking forward to the next one, brother.
Welcome the change. I love that. But I sat on that for a bit. Jeff is right, but it doesn't fit every occasion. Do not welcome the planned tax increase our government came up with. No, fuck that. Fight it. Und wenn ihr nicht wisst wie, die Jungs von Etwas Genuss, die haben da ein paar Ideen zusammengestellt. Guckt es euch an, den Link findet ihr auch noch einmal unter dem Video. Kämpft gegen diese Pläne der Bundesregierung, aber tut's gesittet. Denn es kommt an, wenn auch noch im falschen Hals. Mein Ansprechpartner, also mein Abgeordneter im Bundestag, der Herr Streeck von der CDU, der empfindet sich bereits angegangen und gestalkt von der Tabaklobby. Wer weiß, was da vorgefallen ist. Seid laut, seid unbequem, es kommt an. Aber bleibt gesittet.